Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Afghanistan government claims 58 Pakistani soldiers killed in overnight border operations in response to violations of its territory and airspace by Pakistan. US President Donald Trump and his Egyptian counterpart Abdel Fattah El-Sisi to co-chair Gaza Ceasefire Summit in Sharm el-Sheikh on Monday. More than 20 heads of state expected to attend. Philippines accuses China of ramming vessel near Thitu Island in South China Sea. China's Coast Guard says Philippine vessel ignored warnings from the Chinese side. And Australian airline Qantas says data from 5.7 million customers stolen in a major cyber attack in July leaked online. Taliban regime's chief spokesman Zabihullah Mujahid said that 58 Pakistani soldiers were killed and 30 others wounded during a retaliatory operation carried out by the Afghan forces. Zabihullah Mujahid stated that 20 Pakistani security outposts were destroyed and several weapons were seized during the operation on Saturday night. The Taliban regime's chief spokesman also said the military action was halted at midnight following requests from Saudi Arabia and Qatar. He also claimed that after ISIS-K was defeated in Afghanistan, it started establishing its bases in Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa.
Last night's operation was a retaliation for Pakistan violating Afghanistan's airspace. The operation was conducted along the entire Durand Line border. Our Mujahideen captured more than 20 posts and 58 Pakistani soldiers were killed, while around 30 were injured. Up to 9 Mujahideen were martyred, and we have 16 to 18 wounded. We have also seized their arms and military equipment as well.
Meanwhile, Afghanistan's Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi, who is visiting India, has issued a stern warning to Pakistan, cautioning it against testing the courage of Afghans. The Taliban described the attack as an unprecedented act, accusing Pakistan of an incursion deep into its land.
Our remote areas have come under attack. We condemn this, and we believe that this action by the Pakistan government is a major mistake. Problems cannot be resolved in this way. Afghanistan's history testifies that such issues cannot be resolved through force. The doors of dialogue should remain open, and dialogue must happen.
Moving on to West Asia now, an international summit titled Sharm el-Sheikh Peace Summit will be held in Egypt's Sharm el-Sheikh city on Monday. The summit will be co-chaired by President Abdel Fattah El-Sisi and US President Donald Trump, with the participation of leaders from more than 20 countries. The summit aims to end the conflict in the Gaza Strip, enhance efforts to bring peace and stability to West Asia, and usher in a new phase of regional security and stability in the region. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said he will attend, as will British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, his Italian counterpart Giorgia Meloni, and Pedro Sanchez of Spain. French President Emmanuel Macron and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan will also travel to Sharm el-Sheikh. The European Council will be represented by President Antonio Costa. Jordan's King Abdullah II is also expected to attend. There was no immediate word on whether Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu would participate, while Hamas has said that it will not take part. US President Donald Trump is set to arrive in Israel on Monday morning. During his visit, Trump will hold a meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The tightly scheduled visit also includes a private meeting with families of hostages at the Knesset, followed by a public address to Israeli lawmakers. Meanwhile, aid trucks bound for Gaza were seen crossing from Egypt's side of the Rafah border early on Sunday, followed newly implemented ceasefire agreement. According to the agreement between Israel and Hamas, humanitarian aid will be ramped up into Gaza and permitted to travel freely between North and South Gaza on the two main roads. Hundreds of trucks per day are expected to surge into Gaza, carrying food and medical aid. According to an Israeli security official, the trucks will carry mostly food, medical equipment, shelter equipment, fuel and cooking gas. Equipment needed to fix damaged infrastructure such as water lines, sewage and bakeries will also be allowed in. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited Sheba Medical Center in Ramat Gan on Saturday. The Prime Minister's Office of Israel in a social media post stated that Netanyahu visited the medical facility in order to review preparations for receiving hostages from Gaza after their return to Israel on Monday. Netanyahu, along with several top officials, toured the facility and praised the medical teams for their readiness to welcome the hostages and their families. On to the Russia-Ukraine conflict now. Russian air defense units destroyed 32 Ukrainian drones overnight into Sunday over regions including Moscow, Bryansk, Kursk, according to TASS, citing the Russian Defense Ministry. The operation reported this morning involved Pantsir S and S-400 systems with no casualties or significant damage noted. This follows a surge in drone attacks amid escalating tensions, with Ukraine targeting Russian oil refineries, prompting retaliatory strikes on Ukrainian energy infrastructure. Ukrainian officials have not commented, but NATO allies, including Poland, have scrambled jets in response. No further incidents have been reported, although analysts warn of intensified aerial warfare as winter nears. On to Asia now. Philippines on Sunday accused Chinese maritime forces of using water cannon and ramming a Filipino vessel near the disputed Thitu Island, a move it called a violation of the territory and escalating tensions in the contested South China Sea waters. The Philippine Coast Guard said 3 vessels were anchored to protect local fishermen when Chinese ships approached aggressively. A video shows Chinese Coast Guard ship 21559 firing water cannon at a Philippine boat. China's embassy in Manila is yet to respond. Tensions between the two countries have intensified this year, especially around the Scarborough Shoal. China claims nearly the entire South China Sea, a vital trade route also contested by Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines and Vietnam. Further, China called US President Donald Trump's latest tariffs on Chinese goods double standard on Sunday. Chinese Commerce Ministry said in a lengthy statement that its export controls on rare earth elements followed a series of US measures since bilateral trade talks in Madrid last month. Beijing cited the addition of Chinese companies to a US trade blacklist and Washington's imposition of port fees on China-linked ships as examples. Chinese Commerce Ministry's response came after Trump on Friday responded to Beijing's most recent export controls by imposing additional tariffs of 100% on China's US-bound exports, along with new export controls on critical software by November 1st. The Bangladesh Army has detained 15 officers over allegations of crimes against humanity. The move follows arrest warrants issued by the International Crimes Tribunal. 15 Army officers, including 14 still in service, were taken into custody after the International Crime Tribunal issued warrants for 30 individuals in 2 separate cases in their alleged role in enforced disappearances and torture. One senior officer remains unaccounted for. The Army says it is committed to justice and awaits the official charge sheet to decide further action. In a landmark development, the next stage of the Indian housing project in Sri Lanka commenced on Sunday. The event witnessed the formal handover of entitlement documents to 2,000 beneficiaries from Indian origin Tamil community in Sri Lanka's up-country region. The houses are part of the 4th phase of the Indian housing project that was announced by Prime Minister Modi during his visit to the up-country region in 2017. Speaking at the event, Sri Lankan President thanked the Indian government for the assistance in supporting Sri Lanka.
The government of India has extended substantial financial assistance to Sri Lanka. The support plays a crucial role in strengthening the Sri Lanka's economic stability.
Meanwhile, Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Santosh Jha, highlighted the scale and depth of the project, reinforcing India's holistic approach to community empowerment.
We stand firm in our support to Sri Lanka. Our support for the Indian origin Tamil community is part of this overall effort. Soon we will celebrate the festival of Diwali. May these houses under the Indian Housing Project illuminate countless lives.
Cameroonians in the commercial capital Douala began voting on Sunday in a presidential election where incumbent Paul Biya, the world's oldest ruler at 92, is widely expected to maintain his 43-year-old grip on power despite an energized opposition pushing for change. Biya's opponents include former government spokesperson Issa Tishiroma, who has drawn large crowds demanding an end to the veteran leader's long tenure. Shiroma's bid has drawn endorsements from a platform of some opposition parties and civic groups. However, analysts say that Biya, in power since 1982, is likely to be re-elected given his firm control of state machinery and the fragmented nature of the opposition. You're watching DD India Live, still to come on the show. 3 Qatari diplomats killed in car crash in Egypt's Sharm el-Sheikh. Heavy rains caused widespread flooding and landslides in Mexico, at least 41 killed across 4 states. And opposition leader Patrick Mene wins presidential runoff elections in the Seychelles.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Opposition leader from United Seychelles, Patrick Mene, has won the Seychelles presidential runoff, securing 52.7% of the votes on Sunday. Mene won the race against incumbent Wavel Ramkalawan's 47.3% as per Electoral Commission Seychelles official results. The race, following no majority in the September 27th first round, centered on climate vulnerability, rising sea levels, economic pressures and a heroin crisis affecting up to 10% of the 120,000 population. Mene pledged to slash living costs, bolster public services, combat drug addiction and cancel a controversial 70-year Qatari lease on Azamshal Island near Aldabra UNESCO site, citing sovereignty interference. 3 Qatari diplomats were killed and 2 injured in a car crash on Sunday near the Egyptian town of Sharm el-Sheikh. Egyptian state-linked media said 5 Qataris and an Egyptian driver were in the vehicle when it crashed due to a loss of control of the steering wheel. The Qatari embassy in Cairo expressed deep sorrow and grief over the 3 diplomats' deaths. Qatar, alongside fellow mediators, Egypt and the United States, has been involved in months of talks leading to the Gaza ceasefire. Diplomats and official delegations had descended on the Red Sea resort town in recent days to negotiate a Gaza ceasefire and hostage release deal. Next, we have weather updates. Floods caused by torrential rains have killed at least 41 people in Mexico in recent days and left behind a trail of destruction. Mexico's civil defense authorities reported intense rainfall in 31 of the 32 states, causing rivers to overflow, flooding entire villages, triggering landslides and collapsing roads and bridges. The central state of Hidalgo has been among the worst affected areas, with authorities there reporting at least 22 dead, 1,000 homes damaged, 90 communities inaccessible to rescuers. Meanwhile, authorities in areas off the Pacific coast are keeping a close eye on tropical depression Raymond and remnants of Priscilla, which was once a hurricane. Raymond is expected to hit the southern part of Baja California over the weekend, according to the U.S. National Hurricane Center. Flooding disrupted transport on the Spanish island of Ibiza for the second time in 2 weeks as heavy rain hit the Mediterranean region. The main motorway to the airport was closed, public transport was halted and rainwater seeped into the terminal. Operations were suspended for over an hour with 24 flights cancelled. In Mallorca, 19 flights were cancelled while floodwaters in Ibiza and Formentera left vehicles stranded. Army emergency units were deployed and mass telephone alerts warned residents to avoid unnecessary travel and waterways. Power outages affected hundreds after lightning strikes, with Valencia seeing over 570 storm-related incidents as intense rain continues in the region. A crashed helicopter was found against a bridge in Huntington Beach, Southern California on Saturday afternoon, injuring 5 people just before the annual Cars and Copters fundraising event. 5 people, 2 on board and 3 bystanders were injured and taken to the hospital. Emergency crews responded quickly, transporting those injured to a local hospital, and officials are investigating the cause to ensure the safety of future events in the area. The Colombian army has introduced its first drone battalion to help fight illegal armed groups like guerrillas. These groups have started using drones to attack soldiers and civilians, changing how conflict happens in the country. The army's new drone unit will be used for both defense and attack. Australian airline Qantas said that data from 5.7 million customers stolen in a major cyber attack this year had been shared online, part of a leak affecting dozens of firms. Many sectors like Disney, Google, IKEA, Toyota, McDonald's and fellow airlines Air France and KLM are also reported to have had data stolen in a cyber attack targeting software firm Salesforce, with the information now being held to ransom. Qantas confirmed in July that hackers had targeted one of its customer contact centers and breached privacy and secured access to sensitive information such as customer names, email addresses, phone numbers and even birthdays. In defense, the airline obtained a legal injunction with the Supreme Court of New South Wales to prevent the stolen data from being accessed, viewed, released, used, transmitted or published by anyone, including third parties. And next we take a look at other stories making news today in India. Union Sports Minister Mansukh Mandavia attended the Youth Festival on Sunday in New Delhi. The event was organized under ISKCON's Udgar Drug-Free Youth Cultured India campaign. It aims to inspire young people to stay away from drugs and build a better future. Indian Army organized Veterans Swabhiman Rally 2025 in Guwahati on Sunday. The rally was celebrated with great enthusiasm and reverence under the aegis of Headquarters 51 sub-area. The event was organized to honor the selfless service, valor and sacrifices of armed forces veterans, to express solidarity with their families of fallen soldiers. The Indian Army is all set to host the United Nations Troop Contributing Countries Chief Conclave in New Delhi from 14th to 16th of October. The event will bring together senior military leadership from 32 nations that play a significant role in UN peacekeeping operations. The 26th Special Composite Group of the National Security Guard organized a cyclothon on Sunday in Mumbai. The aim of the event was to raise awareness about cervical cancer and Fit India campaign, marking the ceremonial commencement of the NSG Raising Day celebrations. And on to some sports news now. West Indies are struggling hard to avoid an innings defeat against India on the third day of the second test in New Delhi. At stumps, they reached 173 for 2 in 49 overs, trailing by 97 runs. Overall, a good display of application and intent from the West Indies, and by far their most confident batting performance of the series. After India enforced the follow-on and struck twice early, Shai Hope and John Campbell counter-attacked brilliantly, stitching together the visitors' best partnership of the series and shifting some of the momentum their way. It was a clear reflection of progress and resilience, arriving at a crucial point in the contest. Opener John Campbell led the resistance with his highest test score, while Shai Hope brought up his first 50 in 6 years. Earlier, India had bowled out West Indies for 248, with Kuldeep Yadav starring yet again. His fifer equalled the record for most 5-wicket hauls by a left-arm wrist spinner in Test history. A win here would seal India's 10th consecutive Test series victory over West Indies. The country's national capital woke up to a festive atmosphere as participants from all walks of life, professionals, students, soldiers, senior citizens, hit the street for the 20th edition of the Delhi Half Marathon. The city streets turned into a moving canvas of colour and camaraderie as the participants, decked in the race's breaking barriers, marked the 20th edition of the road race. DD India's Abhishek Prasad caught up with participants who shared their experience.
I am here right now at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium, where the 20th edition of the Delhi Half Marathon concluded, and I have with me some of the participants who have just participated and completed the race.
Once again, we start with James.
How was your experience competing at this 20th edition of the Delhi Half Marathon?
The experience was too good. The Delhi atmosphere is too good. The people are awesome. We enjoyed a lot in India culture. Let the Mumbai and LCF rock. Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray! Thank you.
What do you have to say? How was your experience and which cause you are supporting here? How was your experience?
Yeah, so we all are from an NGO called Let's Celebrate Fitness from Mumbai. And we are supporting the cause. Let's spread our culture and let's keep our Indian culture alive. The beauty of the culture is at most important to follow for the present generation. So we had been running the world majors in Sari, Tata Mumbai Marathon in Sari. This being the capital of the country, we chose to run in the traditional attire. And we are so proud to run here, and the experience was so amazing. The route, the hydration, the support, and especially the India Gate gave us goosebumps. What say, guys?
People of all age groups, people of who's carrying the Indian flag high. Sir, आपका experience यहाँ पे कैसा रहा दिल्ली हाफ मैराथन का?
हाँ जी, मेरा नाम तजिंदर इंडिया है, मैं बठिंडा से हूँ.
I love being in Delhi, and despite having a fever, I decided to push through and participate in the event. It was worth it.
मतलब बहुत अच्छा लगता है.
Actually, this is my SME style attire.
This is Kapu Sahib Sador Mikla. This is my second time, but really great. It's a great event.
This was my third time running the Vedanta Delhi Half Marathon. Last year I finished second and won ₹10,000. This year I clocked around 50 minutes. Kudos to the organizers for top-notch facilities and smooth execution.
These runners were running for more than 2 hours and still has that will and determination to finish that line. What do you have to say?
I have to say, दिल्ली दिलवाले के ऐसे ही नहीं कहते हैं. आज जो रन किया है, पब्लिक ने सपोर्ट दिया और जो मैनेजमेंट है, awesome, super. Thank you, दिल्ली.
So these were the runners, those participants who are participating across all age groups, whether it's youth, whether it's people of age group 30 or over 40. Everyone participated in the early morning in Delhi and has set the rhythm on fire. With cameraman Monty, Abhishek Prasad for DD India.
That's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. For those on the go, you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates from India and the world. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja. From all of us here in New Delhi, thank you for watching. Namaskar.